I'm going to use you as an example. Don't do it. You just hopped on it. If you could just sit on it, thank you so much. Have one last match here. Hopefully it's going to work. Maybe it even works better when it's from the cemetery.
Yeah, it's holy water all of a
That's
sudden.
the reason.
Hello friends, this is Anna from Death Travels. I travel the world and make videos about death, funeral and mourning customs, and interesting resting places. Welcome to my channel. Funny thing, my mic actually ghosted me during the intro. Just another day in my haunted tech life. So here's a silent hello from me and my friend Bogdan from Maramureș, a beautiful region in northern Romania. Today, we'll be stepping into the secret life of a Romanian cemetery, a place where the living don't just remember their loved ones, they coexist with them. Join me on this adventure to discover 4 surprising things that are allowed in Romanian cemeteries, but could potentially raise some eyebrows elsewhere. Let's go.
So this is a cemetery that belongs to the Orthodox Church. And there's something super interesting about this place I'm going to show you in a second. So in the Orthodox tradition, that is not uncommon to have cemeteries around, still kind of placed around a church. And because the priest who runs that church lives on the premises as well, his house is often kind of put in the middle of the cemetery. So this is the house of the priest, super interesting, very close to the church. And then just outside the church, there is a cemetery, which is completely an idea that is completely not understandable from the North American point of view, I think. So let's just get into the cemetery through the gate. The garden of the house is pretty much a cemetery. So as you can tell, he lives
Among the dead.
yeah, at the cemetery, pretty much, just behind his house. You can tell. What he told us yesterday, though, is he because in the Orthodox tradition, that doesn't really matter. The body is important, but the soul is more important. So when the soul departs the body is pretty much just a vessel. So you're not afraid, or you just put it in the ground. So he said, I live above the dead, not with the dead. So as I mentioned before, in the Orthodox tradition, the cemetery is often put in sort of around the church. Catholics used to do that, not anymore. And I think it was for sanitary reasons, and there was also not enough space for graves anymore. But in this tradition, they still do it. And it's a very interesting situation, because in many ways, when you have any types of anniversaries or church, holidays and so on, people come here and they're allowed to sit on those graves. They also have pomanas on those graves, so special meals that they share with the dead, and so on and so on. This is not disrespectful to actually sit on someone's grave. And we'll just see Bogdan sitting on someone's grave. Bogdan, can you demonstrate that it's not offensive to sit on someone's grave? You just hopped on it. If you could just sit on it, thank you so much. Nobody feels offended here. Nobody. Now I'll tell you something interesting. Okay, Bogdan, I'm going to use you as an example. Don't do it. Okay, so in the Catholic tradition, especially in Poland, sometimes you can tell that there are trees and there are fruits at the cemetery. So fruit trees, right?
Yeah.
So, but you're not allowed to eat them. They're considered, again, this is not really hygienic. In Romania, Orthodox tradition, there's no problem. You can pick fruits from the ground. You can eat them from the tree, the trees that grow.
You can make suika out of them.
Yes, so this is very important. So people here make a local alcohol called suika, and there's a very loud motorcycle. Wow. So people make tsuika, a traditional, very strong alcohol in Romania, and they pick plums for it, and also plums
also
and apples from the cemeteries. Maybe it even works better when it's from the cemetery.
Yeah, it's holy water all of a
That's
sudden.
the reason. Just gonna see how Bogdan is doing this for us. Just putting it here. Who are you lighting a candle for, Bogdan?
Me?
Yeah.
For my grandparents.
Okay. Have one last match here. Hopefully it's gonna work. So what do I say? Forgive them and...
Forgive them and rest them in peace.
Forgive her and rest her in peace.
Bad example.
So I already recorded that video, and you may remember that it was talking about what's allowed and what's not allowed in at the Polish Catholic cemetery. So smoking in Poland at the cemetery, not allowed. It's considered rude and you're disrespectful towards the dead. In Romania, no problem.
No problem.
It's a part of life because
Probably it's not
welcomed.
right and a wow thing to do.
Right.
No.
So, but it's interesting because priest told us yesterday, he said that, you know, in the Orthodox tradition, dying is just, you know, it's a part of life. You just kind of transform into something else. You're beginning a new life. So any type of eating, drinking, maybe smoking even at a cemetery, it's a part of life. So we're just kind of celebrating life here, doing all the things that we do as living creatures, and not just, you know, mourning and being sad. So I find it super interesting. There's much more things allowed in this tradition than in a Catholic tradition, in my opinion.
So that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please slap a like on it or leave a comment below. See you next time.